Hello and welcome. My name is Calliope, and we are going to be doing some little tweaks and adjustments to your face today. Is that correct? Yes, so let me just get a little look at you. So, for my particular kind of facial readjustment, we are combining elements from two Japanese modalities. We have Kobido, which is kind of a brand name, Kobido massage. The lineage itself is about 500 years old, if I recall correctly. Might be a bit older than that. Okay, let's just get my little ruler here. Okay. I'm just looking at symmetry in the face. That's often what people ask for, is just to be a little more symmetrical. Okay, so that's our midline right there. Good. And in addition to Kobido, we also use a Japanese technique called Seitai, which has been described as like a Japanese form of chiropractic work. It's a type of body work with adjustments. Oftentimes it's done on the whole body. We're just focusing on the face. So our main goals are generally that we want to lift the face, sharpen the features to get a better sense of symmetry. We want to relax the muscles, encourage flexibility in the fascia, and drain lymph from the tissues back into the lymphatic system. By just assessing your head-neck relationship, because sometimes you can get tension in other parts of your body that then will correspond to tension in the face. Everything's connected, that sort of thing. Do you mind if I work with your head a bit? Just make sure I've got a good handle on your head, okay? And I'm going to move you in some different ways. I want you to tell me how it feels. So if I bring the head forward, how does that feel? Okay, and if I bring the head back, okay, so we're a little tilted to the side there, aren't we? Can we try to bring that straight? Nope. Okay, so that's something we'll have to look at. Now, let's go this way, just tilt a bit. How's that? And right here. Okay, and I'm going to have you just turn like this. Good. Like this. Okay. Let's set you straight. So, just feeling around So we've definitely got a good amount of tension in this side right over here. So with that, I want to just take a little peek around if you don't mind. So I'm going to just see where this tension is coming from. Would you mind just looking down into the side that way? Okay. And can you feel that tension in the back of your neck there? The way that's pulling. Okay. And what about if you do the other side there? Okay, not so much. And if I could just have you repeat those two moves while I look at this side. Good. Okay, and that's not nearly as tense. Okay. So you can go ahead and just keep your head neutral there. And I'm going to have you turn around. We're going to do a couple of moves just on your neck, your back, in this area, and we'll see if we can lighten that up a little bit, okay? Okay, so I'm going to primarily be using the backs of my hands here, my knuckles. I'm not going to really get in there, but almost use it like a smoothing force. And if I could have you just breathe out and tuck your chin in, so like that. And we'll see if I can get this worked out, okay? Go ahead and breathe out. Good. Bring the head back up. Let's go again. Okay. And back up one more time. Good. Let's do that for the other side. Go ahead and do that again. Good. Again. Just working real slow. Okay, one more time. Good. And then on both sides here, have you do that again. And again, pressing my weight into my hands. There. And one more time. Okay. So, would you mind just moving your head again and seeing if that tension is still there or if that's lessened somewhat? Okay, let me take a little feel. And slide. Yeah, that definitely feels a lot better. So if you want to just come back around, and we are going to work on your face. So, were there any particular concerns that you had that you wanted me to address with the facial readjustment. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, certainly I can see that. And then, okay. Yeah, just as I go along, if I see anything that we can work with and adjust, then I will let you know. And you can tell me if you'd like me to work with that. So, we are going to be doing some myofascial release to start. We're not going to be using any oil, and I'm going to start with the chest here. So I'm going to use one hand to go from the sternum outwards. Like I said, there can be tension in other parts of the body that end up increasing tension in the neck and face. So that's why we're starting down here. And this will also help a little bit with opening up our lymph system. So we have our lymph nodes, our supraclavicular nodes in here, and that's what we're ultimately draining into. So we will work with that. And these little movements will help start to drain that out. That'll help us more later. Okay, let me just push down my shoulders a little bit. Get some of that tension out of there, and let's chest here. And then I am going to be just moving your head like this. Okay, so this way. If you're like this, then I can get into the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And there's all these lymph nodes that are in front of, behind, and underneath the SCM. So let's just work here. So we're going to work from around the ear, behind the ear, all the way down. I'm going to take my fingers, and this is going to be some rather detailed work here. And this might feel a little odd because we're working with that SCM. I can pull on it and isolate it. So I'm just going to hold the jaw here, and I'm going to run my fingers down. We're just going to stretch out that skin. Good. Okay, and then we're going to come down along here, and I'm just going to use a gentle touch to drain that fluid down to the supraclavicular fossa. And then we can work back up. And isolate and sort of knead this muscle. So let me know if this is too much. do that sort of knuckling down along here, side of the neck, the shoulder. And we are going to work with the muscle fibers. So you have the temporalis up in here, and then you have the masseter right here. These are two of your major muscles in mastication or chewing. And they are the more superficial muscles. The deep ones would be the pterygoids. And I'm doing what I like to call stripping along the muscle fibers, running the way that they do. The masseter here. Good. And we can gather the skin, so like this, we can move the skin, and it's easier when it's the other way around if I were to grab it like this. But we can grab the skin here at the jaw, gather that up, and work with it upwards. So this is where we're getting our lifting. It's where we're getting some of our fascial release, reducing tension in the muscles, and we can get some of that lymph moving, although the lymph is much more superficial. But just bringing that up, so using this sort of pinching to bring that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and just move you so that you are looking this way. And let's just take a little peek here. So here's our SCM. And we're going to just gently take a peek at everything and then drain down. Good. All the way from here. And then following it back up while isolating and kneading muscle. Coming back down. Again, let me know if that SCM, if that's painful, right? those muscles. So we're setting the foundation for our work here. We can't readjust anything until we have everything relaxed and pliable, otherwise it's really not going to stick. So that's where this Kobido massage really comes in handy, because it does start with those techniques to establish a sort of pliability before we use it to add structure and add some lift to the features. Everything just a little sharper. From the temporalis going back over here to master. Just kneading into that. And then just gathering that skin and just bringing that up. And this just brings blood circulation to the area and firms it up temporarily. You can get some puffiness out of there, tighten things. Lift that way. And just follow that upwards. I'm going to use my fingers. We're going to get you back to right here. And I'm going to use my fingers to start pressing up towards the hairline. Just encouraging everything to go and stay up. And here on the forehead. And then with the chin here, use my thumbs to just knead right in here. Strip the jaw. fingers and stripping that out. Making a sharper jawline. So I would like to grab hold of your lips and knead them like so, starting at the corner here. Our mouths often move so much, they make so many expressions, and the muscles here, they're pretty hard workers. So we're just gathering up those muscles and just giving them a little knead here. Some strokes to lift everything up. Push the forehead up, smooth that out. Across the jaw. Okay. So now we're going to work with the nose here. So I am just going to use my fingers along the nose. Work up and down. And then we're going to work that up. As well as right by the nares here. Smooth that up. And just knead around these areas. Good, and then we're going to work, so kind of be at the lacrimal gland here and work all the way down to the nair. And I'm just going to use my thumb for this area, working alongside the nose. Good. And then from the lacrimal glands, right below there, we're going to follow the zygomatic arch and stroke up that way, following the lines of muscle and just giving them a little lift. Like we did with your lips, and gather the skin. that out along the orbital ridge. And then go from the eyebrows to the temples. On the forehead, what I'd like to do is this sort of alternating move like this. I'll just take the fingers and alternate the strokes. Bring that down. Just work to each side. Pressure okay? Everything out. Bring it up so that we can lift everything in preparation for draining the lymph out. And then we can bring that back up again. So we are going to go along the face and use gentle pressure and just bring the lymph to the nearest lymph node. So we can go here to the preauricular node, the nose to that node. Here, maybe we bring this down to the submental and submandibular nodes. This is going to be feather light. And then we're going to drain everything down. Okay, and then the jaw, mouth. There we are. Good. Just stay here so I don't jostle you around too much. And then back behind here, we're going to go down. Let's follow that down. drain this all out. Just do a little few moves just to encourage that journey, that path. Smooth everything back up. Preserve our lifting effect. And then I'm just going to be looking along the jaw here. Very quickly. I'm going to do some rapid tapping here, some percussion. We're going to bring this up to the cheek. And then we're just going to smooth that out. Let's do a little bit more tapping up here. This definitely helps to firm everything up. Okay. Smooth that out. And then we're going to work with more of the adjustments, the specific adjustments, the Seitai here. So I'm going to hold your head with my fingers while my thumbs do the work here. They're just going to be these little bits of adjusting on the head. Almost feels like just pressing and holding, while my other fingers just stabilize. am going to use my fingers here just to stabilize the nose. And we're going to get this in more of alignment here. So just stay still. We can look at this, just adjust it one way or another. Okay, and then I'm going to be pressing up into the orbital ridge here. Let's just start with 2 fingers. And we're going to get the brows straighter here. So let's go ahead, press into the zygomatic, and maybe even a bit of tapping here. Moment. Press in so we can get a good lift there. Make sure they match up. This side. Okay. So I'm going to stabilize the jaw with one hand, and I'm just going to work along it with my thumb here. I'm going to alternate so that everything stays symmetrical rather than doing just everything on one side and then trying to correct it. Just keep it symmetrical as you go. Good. Right in here. Just hold that there. Let's do that. Tapping along the jaw. Pressing that into place. And then we're just going to smooth that out. Okay, let's go ahead and give you a little check. Let's see. that's much better. So everything is tightened up, especially right in here. The skin is quite a bit tighter, and along the jawline. Symmetry is much better. Nose is in a good spot. Eyebrows are level. And yeah, the angles of the jaw are much better. So I hope that you are quite pleased with how your face looks. It's still your face, just a little more enhanced. Just a little tighter, just a little sharper. Okay? Alright. It was absolutely wonderful having you here today. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you. Bye now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon, without which I wouldn't be able to make these videos. If you'd like to help support the channel, I have a link to my Patreon in the description box below. I offer perks like early access to videos, ad-free access to said videos, audio downloads of all my content. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your